Hey guys, Josh King here. Just a quick note as I finish up editing this episode of Beer with Buffy. We recorded this a couple of days just before the untimely passing of Michelle Trachtenberg on Wednesday, February 26th. And we didn't want it to look like we were heartless or aloof about it. So our hearts go out to all of her family and friends and colleagues who are taking it pretty hard, understandably. I know the fandom is taking it very hard, and I hope you're not hearing it from me for the first time here right now. Anyway, Rex and I are going to talk about it more next episode. For now, we don't really have anything to add that you can't find on any news source, so we're going to leave that to the professionals, and we'll stick to reviewing episodes like we always do. So, rest in peace, Michelle. You were a huge part of making Buffy an amazing piece of television history, and we'll never forget you.
Point is, the end result is the same.
Duty calls.
I have searched the world over for you.
That is so cool.
You guys all just have this really tight bond.
Just call me the computer whisperer.
He seemed so nice and warm.
You don't want to come back to my place?
The smell makes me nauseous.
I thought it was going to be a slow night.
It's fucking fantastic.
I love that sound.
Can we go now?
Bottle opener
That one
dysfunction.
you can call bottle opener dysfunction. Fuck you.
Hello. Welcome to Beer with Buffy. I'm Rex.
I'm Josh.
Man, I didn't drink ginger beer really at all on our break. It's so good.
I got out of the habit. I think it makes it that much better for the podcast.
Yeah.
Just to save it for the podcast.
Today on Beer with Buffy, we are reviewing...
Hold on. If you can't keep it in the podcast, keep it in your pants.
Okay, sure.
That's how ginger beer works, right?
Oh, Maybe.
I've been walking around with ginger beer in my pants for weeks.
That explains some things.
Weeks!
Is that why my couch was wet?
Come on, man. You ain't got to air that.
Today on Beer with Buffy, we are reviewing, in my opinion, one of the most terrifying episodes of this show. Just in pure weight of reality.
Yeah, and the monster sucks, but it's still one of the scariest episodes.
Season 6, Episode 12, Double Meat Palace. The episode in which Buffy gets a menial fast food job.
I'll double meet your palace. With my penis.
Yeah, I don't think you needed to add that last part.
I think I did. Fuck-a-doodle-doo, Rex.
Fuck-a-doodle-doo.
Fuck-a-doodle me.
Yeah, I mean, I said do, but yes. You too.
Yeah, because it's my turn to read the doodle-doos. Don't mind if I do. Do. They are Angelica Tinkerbell Matheson, Pixie Dark, Elon Bond, Tracy Kidd, finally figured out, name change meow, Monica Fonseca Excelentez, Tsuba Spike, Audrey two French last names, check out my band Cryptids, Allie B, Nathan Lancy, Dulcinea, Rachel Doodle-Doo, Seal Meat Palace, Mr. Tobalicious, Sandra Craig, Jay Sommer, Karen Moon, Leroy Jenkins, Kelly MC, Jesse Rain, Alex from the Heart, and Carrie Phillips.
Thank you so much. Without you, this show literally is not possible.
And speaking of Jesse Rain, that is who turned out to be the hoodie winner. And they have claimed it, and I have sent them the code. It is done.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This is the first I'm hearing about it.
You're welcome.
Also, I want to give extra points to Clubby the Seal.
Oh?
On the balls. Seal Meat Palace. Like, knew what episode was coming up.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, Clubby the Seal also tried to pregame with a special name for Once More with Feeling as well, but it didn't work out with our timing because
because we wrote a song.
Because it was a crazy fucking ridiculous operation of an episode. But
yeah.
we appreciate all you do, Clubby the Seal. Thank you.
Yes.
You are a professional Patreon name changer.
I really enjoy the whole name thing just on the grounds of like it's this fun little weird interaction we get to have, and it's just for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
No, I agree. I'm also just an asshole. So,
Well, we all knew that.
but in a fun way, in a good way, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Tell me you love me.
My spouse and I agree on that count, actually.
Hooray!
Josh is an asshole, but he's our asshole.
Excellent. Okay. Yep.
We don't really have anything else to go over, so I think it's just time for a mom synopsis.
You can't tell me what to do. Joshua! What are you doing, Joshua? All of the heroin, mother. Fuck you for judging me. Joshua! I thought you were quitting. You were doing so well. What happened? Would you believe me if I told you Rex shot me up with heroin against my will while I was studying? What in the hell were you studying, Joshua? How stupid your mother is? Is there a book called that? No, I haven't finished writing that book. And I don't think I'm a student of that any longer, so much as I am a world-renowned expert. What the hell is that supposed to mean, Joshua? It means, oh my God, look, what the hell is that? There's a big, gross eel demon coming out of your head. Very, very funny. Ha ha, Joshua. Like I'm stupid enough to fall for that one again. You're right. Okay, you got me. I was just joshing you. Oh, that's funny. Like with your name, but you used it in a sentence somehow. That's very funny, Joshua. You should do stand-up comedy like the man with the puppets. Maybe I will, Mom. I'm going to go practice with my puppets right now, in fact. All right, honey, have fun. Don't forget you owe me rent. Sorry, I can't hear you over the sound of how funny my puppets are. Hey. Hey, wait! That little son of a bitch is just going to do heroin again. I'm sorry, did you just call me a son of a bitch? Maybe. Why? Think about that just for a second. Because today on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Buffy gets a job at the Double Meat Palace, a fast food burger joint, and discovers multiple scandals immediately, then gets fired for causing a scene and lightly throwing her boss and a couple coworkers across the room. Meanwhile, Xander and Anya continue wedding planning, and Anya's old friend Halfrek shows up to strip Xander's flesh from his bones, to support an old friend, because she's an active vengeance demon, you see. She kind of stirs the shit pot with Anya, if you know what I mean. Also, Amy shoots up an unwilling Willow with a giant dose of magic that Willow can't control, and now she's having a harder time quitting. Buffy finds a demon murdering Double Meat employees, and Willow uses science to uncover their even dirtier secret that the burgers are really just vegetables with beef fat mixed in. Buffy uses this powerful knowledge to absolutely no advantage whatsoever. The end. But I don't have any opinions about that, Rex.
I doubt that.
None whatsoever.
Well, then I guess we're done. This has been another episode of Beer with Buffy.
I figured I'd just let you talk for an hour.
Oh, God.
And then it'll be easier to edit.
I mean...
Actually, that might be a lot harder to edit.
I always thought that your editing practice was mostly just cutting out shit I say.
I try to be... I'm very fair. I'm very fair.
No, you are. You are. You're quite fair.
I've cut tons of my own shit.
Anyway.
It's probably 60-40, though.
Yeah.
Ladies, gentlemen, spiny-headed looking creatures. As soon as the sun goes down, as soon as the sun goes down, vampire. Competition is a beautiful thing. Moves here.
We open on Buffy's house with Willow, Xander, and Anya discussing the situation with the trio. I like how Xander's take on it is like, yeah, Warren, totally evil guy, but like I thought Jonathan learned his lesson, and I don't know who the third dude is.
I have no idea who that other guy is. That running gag, maybe it'll be, I guess it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I enjoy it.
Yeah. That's the right word.
It's one of the few things about the trio that I enjoy.
Right. Yeah, on the nose.
It's a solid running gag.
It's not funny, ha.
I think the reason I enjoy it, though, is it's a meta joke.
Yeah,
You gotta love a good meta joke.
I do. I feel highly obligated to love a meta joke.
But anyway, Anya asks the important question of like, well, if you know who they are and you know where they were, why haven't you kicked their asses yet? Turns out
Funny story
they've vamoosed
about that.
Yeah,
She tried,
yeah,
but they did manage to nab a few items from their house.
yes.
I didn't bother writing any of them down. They don't seem to hold any significance yet, but they did all seem to share magical qualities.
Well, very specifically, when Willow is explaining some of these items, she is very, very focused on the magic items specifically.
Oh, her face starts to twitch.
Yeah.
And you can just see her
A little too excited there, Willow.
butt quivers a little bit like a dog uncontrollably wagging its tail. But I think the real giveaway was her rock hard erection. But then she quickly takes a little cold shower in her brain about it and goes back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lady boner.
And
Working, still processing that visual, Rex.
yeah, it's really sticking with me.
Want to know how
Like
much
a
of our
bone in the throat.
I want to know how much of our listener base I just turned on with that.
The answer is probably not 0.
It's definitely not 0. Because you're listening. You know how I can tell, Rex? Your rock hard erection, right?
I was trying to come up with some way to avoid it.
The table's like 6 inches higher than it was before, and he thought I wouldn't notice.
Jesus Christ.
I was like, oh, you are a magician.
Anyway, we get a little bit, they talk a little bit about how it's going to be Buffy's first day at her new job, and Anya gets the same arousal from capitalism.
She does, in fact. Yeah, a lot of lady boners in this scene.
You know, it's the one qualm I have with her as a character.
Mm-hmm.
Because fuck capitalism.
Really, okay, it's really only 2 out of 3 of the ladies in this scene that have a boner.
Yeah.
So 2 out of 3 ain't bad, though.
No, that's solid numbers.
Yeah. And of course, because we're incapable of even mentioning the fucking trio without just ham-slappingly pointing out how fucking nerdy they are, we're subjected to a verbal description of it. Like their quarters were the nerd's natural habitat. And coming from Willow, that's kind of rich.
Right?
It's and she would know. Shut the fuck up, Joss. Anyway. And of course, there's the obligatory Star Trek reference and Xander pretending not to find the idea of a female Vulcan sexy.
Well, I
We
like
all
how
know T'Pol is very hot, but she didn't happen until years after this, so it's a bit of an anachronism.
No, because that's who they're talking about is her.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess that
'Cause
would have
they
been
said
around about 2002.
The female Vulcan on Enterprise.
Oh, did they say Enterprise?
Yes.
Oh, I was thinking the Enterprise, not the show Enterprise. No. Cool. I accidentally got the reference correct. That never happened.
And she is a gorgeous woman.
Oh.
Honestly, if anything did her a disservice, it was the fact that like the Vulcan costume just really didn't work for her. It kind of dulled how gorgeous of a person
well, they
she is.
they did the same thing to her that they did with 7 of 9. They were like, here, everybody else gets normal clothes, and we're going to paint yours on.
Yeah.
Which gave me a huge lady boner. But
I don't think that's what that was.
Didn't really do a whole lot for moving feminism forward.
No.
You know?
And it is the one downside of a lot of older Trek is that they really miss the feminism train there.
Yeah, in a few spots.
Yeah.
They tried in a few other spots and missed the train in a lot of others.
Well, and it just goes to show, much like this show, it doesn't matter how progressive you are. You're probably not progressive enough.
I see. So we're talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer again. Okay.
Yes.
This is their fault.
I brought it around.
It's their fault for talking about Star Trek,
Yes.
frankly.
Anyway, we get to my first quote of the day here. During Anya's spiel, she ends it with, "The workers are the tools that shape America."
Yeah, they
And
are.
then from off camera, we hear Buffy, "Good to know." Camera cuts to her. "I was kind of feeling like a tool, and now I know why." And she's wearing her fast food Double Meat Palace uniform.
That's a good little quote. Anyway, so yeah, Double Meat Palace right after the opening sequence.
Yes. Okay, this right here. Cue my first rant of the episode. There might be a couple. But there is absolutely fucking nothing I hate more about employment than the fucking onboarding process.
In food service, definitely.
Period. I
Okay.
fucking hate onboarding. It's the number one thing that I hate about the concept of getting a new job.
Sure.
Is the same fucking paperwork I filled out a million goddamn times, the same fucking certification tests and bullshit that I have to take every fucking time. It's stupid.
I might disagree with myself if I took a time machine back into 2012, but I actually have a handful of very fond memories of the onboarding process at Metro Transit, the bus company that I drove for 3 years of my life that were a complete waste of time, and I want them back. But they had the most ridiculous training video that was trying to be like Tron.
Oh my God.
And everybody else managed to keep their mouths shut and just watch it. I burst out laughing, just balls to the wall, guffawing, and they didn't do shit.
I can't deal with it, man. The whole onboard, it's demeaning. It is demeaning.
Oh, absolutely. It's
It
because
is, hey, we are going to treat you like children who don't understand the most basic of things.
absolutely. It starts with the application. It's if you can get through this application, it means that you are willing to be verbally abused and demeaned.
Yeah.
If you can get through the interview, it means that you're really serious about wanting to be verbally abused and demeaned. That's how desperate you are. If you can make it through these fucking videos,
Yeah.
holy hell, do we just have you by the balls? We're going to pay you nothing and make you do all of the work. And you've accepted that we're the bosses of you, and you just have no rights to your own personal time anymore in any capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awful. I fucking hate it.
Uh-huh.
This scene brought back fucking flashbacks. That being said, though, exiting this scene is just the best fucking moment where the camera's on Buffy's face as we hear the video talking about how they harvest these two special meats. And you hear a bunch of fucking animal noises, which it just sounded like a Josh supercut, by the way.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only all overlapping.
Yes.
Yeah. This video is actually someone on this writing team for this episode has worked for Steak and Shake, or every single fucking fast food restaurant chain has the same horse shit in their videos.
I mean,
it's one or the other.
The one fast food place I worked for, it was the same shit.
Okay. Yeah,
So, like-
with the fucking bow ties and the
Yeah.
come be a happy part of our family, blah, 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 blah. Because up until the funny part where they cut to Buffy's disgusted face as the video portrays the meat processing of cows and chickens, it's not even satire. It's
No.
just accurate.
Honestly, I don't think really any of this entire fucking introduction to Double Meat Palace is really satire.
Right. No, this is just what working in fast food is like. It's
This is
painfully-
all accurate and normal to what it is.
painfully accurate. But yeah, Buffy cracks a joke about it being like Sleepless in Seattle if Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan were minced, which frankly, that's a training video I'd like to see. So Manny the manager just has no sense of humor.
I have had this dude as a boss before.
I believe it.
He was a security guard, though.
Of course.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
again, with the astounding and probably accidental accuracy Manny asks why she wants to work here, because she looks young and bright, and there's lots of other jobs.
Worst fucking question.
Oh.
Worst.
Buffy makes the rookie mistake of telling the truth, that this was just easier and she needs the money now, but corrects herself, because I just want to be a part of the double meat experience.
It's bullshit that the answer, you will pay me money to be here, isn't a good answer.
complete bullshit.
This is one of those
They
things.
want to indoctrinate you.
Yeah,
That's how they keep control of you.
This is one of those things that my spouse would really rail on, is the whole neurotypical way of talking about a thing. It's like everyone involved in that scenario understands that the only reason the workers are there is because they're getting paid.
Yeah.
But you can't fucking say it. You're not allowed to actually say it.
Yeah, no one really expects you to believe it. It's very important that they hear you say it.
Yeah.
Bitch.
So we get a tour of Double Meat Palace, and I love that literally every single person we meet that works there is just stone-faced fucking zombie. They are so done.
Yeah.
It is the most accurate depiction I've ever seen of these kind of jobs.
I worked at Denny's one time, and I remember the cook bragging about how kids are so stupid to go to college, because look at him. He's just out here making money, and he's going to have so much more money than those dumb college kids. And I was just like, are you fucking
Wow.
serious? He was fucking serious.
I believe it. I believe it.
Except
But-
the difference between him and these guys was he actually seemed happy.
Yeah. But yeah,
These guys are just complacent.
they're dead inside.
Yeah.
They're all dead inside.
Well, this guy wants to fight with weapons. I've got it covered from A to Z. From axe to the other axe. I'm fairly certain I said no interruptions.
We meet two of the coworkers in the break room. We get the first hint that something's a bit odd about the place, because they had, when Buffy's given a locker, there's already stuff in the locker. And, Manny's like, well, we got a lot of turnover here.
And the other guys are like, oh, what happened to the other girl?
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, so there's this weird aura of, oh, something's going on, something's fishy. And at the risk of a spoiler here, just because I don't know if I'll remember to say it later or if the context will come up later, I think it's hilarious in retrospect of watching this episode just now that this whole aura that they're building about it being creepy because there's something going on and people being dead-eyed, stone-faced, it's not because anything's happening to them other than they are working in fast food.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, they're doing a real good job of incorporating the lifelessness of people with probably some sort of metaphor of soul-sucking parasites or something.
Nope, they're just dead. They're just naturally dead
They're
inside.
just actually dead inside because that's how much it sucks to work there. That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. And they go over to the time clock, and we get a whole spiel from Manny about if Buffy puts the work in and shows that he has a 10-year badge or
God
some
almighty.
shit.
God.
Oh, God. And the dude died here later on. Like, what a life.
Well, I guess he
that'd be
really was a
awful.
lifer.
Don't get us wrong here. We are not by any means shaming the people who work these jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no. We are shaming the companies and the way they run this shit and the way they make the people who work these jobs live their life and whatnot.
You know what
But,
that
like,
disclaimer reminds me of is I saw a post. Somebody was apologizing on behalf of Canada for them booing at the national anthem, the United States national anthem that they play at hockey games. And I'm just like, no, Canada, you don't need to apologize. Anybody that's misunderstanding why you're booing is part of the problem, and you're never going to get through to them. Just stop.
Yeah.
Just fucking stop. So that's the same. Anybody that could misinterpret us talking about food service this way, who thinks that we're talking shit about the workers personally, can go fuck themselves, because we're very much recognize that it is capitalism and the horrid reality of how it works that does this to people.
Yes.
For like no money.
Yeah.
Minimum fucking wage. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure it took Manny 10 years to be making $2 more than minimum wage.
I think my favorite part of the tour, though, is the tail end when he pulls out one of the burgers and explains what it is after she just watched this fucking video that, showed the slaughtering process, and then just like eat it and like practically shoves it in her mouth.
Yeah. So 2 things there. She asks what the secret ingredient is, and he says it's a meat process.
Yeah.
And she just realizes she's not going to get a real answer out of him and just kind of lets it go. And I'm like, that's enough reason to just walk out right there, Buffy.
Yeah.
Just he might as well have said, oh, it's a processed meat byproduct or something.
Right.
It's like sliced American cheese slices that are cheese product. They can't even legally call it cheese.
I mean, to be fair, there is a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the percentage of what is cheese and other ingredients.
Yeah. Which makes me not want to eat it. But it's still a misleading title for people that don't bother to look any deeper.
Yeah, fair.
Because it's still called cheese. But if it's not more than 50% cheese, please don't call it cheese. It's like Cheese, the musical. Directed by somebody who is definitely not cheese.
Oh, man.
So, and then, yeah, he basically forces this burger down her throat, which I think it's hilarious that her mouth isn't even big enough to make a dent in this burger.
Right? Like, there's no way she actually took a bite of this sandwich.
Oh, yeah, and the one she's eating later, I'm like, there's no bites taken out of that sandwich except like a little tiny bit of bread. Anyway, whatever.
Also, I was kind of impressed that, like, how put together the fucking burgers are.
Oh, yeah.
That's not real fast food.
No. And also, there's no fast food company out there that shoves the food down your throat like that. Because I think we all know they will gladly, bullheadedly charge you for every fucking thing you consume and then blame the shitty working conditions on food costs.
Yeah.
And they'll maybe give you a 40% discount.
You know, the fact that this was as long ago as it was, though, they probably did give free food. Because back, honestly, it wasn't too long after the airing of this episode that I worked in fast food, and we got free food.
This was exactly the same time that I worked at Steak and Shake, and it was exactly as I just described it. They only gave us like a 40% discount.
Oh, really?
And were extremely shitty with us if we didn't ring in our food before we made it for ourselves. And they were yelling at us all the time about food costs. You're stealing food, aren't you? You're bringing up our food costs. You're the reason we don't make any money. I'm like, no.
That's not how that works.
You thinking that you're someday going to be one of the executives.
Yeah. And
letting them pitch you against us is why you're not making any money. It's because you're a fucking tool.
Yeah. We meet, the fuck was that dude's name? Gail? Was it Gail? Gabe? Gary?
I want to
say
Gary.
Yeah, it was Gary, I think.
And that will be the extent of names that I remember.
Yes. We meet Gary, and he is the only other person aside from Buffy who is not brain dead at this job. He's a little bit.
He's on his way. You can tell he's been there a couple days longer than Buffy, at least.
But we get a fun little quote here. He's training Buffy on the cash register, rings something up, hands her a cup, and says, "Fill this while I go get the food." And she looks at the cup and she says, "Fill this? I didn't know there was going to be drug testing at this job."
Hey-o.
And it's like a fucking 20-ounce cup.
Full ass fucking styrofoam cup. Yeah.
I like that.
Is her bladder even big enough?
Maybe.
Anyway.
Depends on how long she's been holding it.
The issue that he takes with that joke is that it's funny, not that it's gross. And she said it in front of customers.
Right.
So
yeah, the whole conversation they're having is in front of a customer.
Yeah.
And like the customer is not the least bit phased.
Yeah. So again, taking a little vacation from realism here, but that's okay. We've got higher artistic points to make here.
Then Buffy gets shown the POS, which has always been honestly the best initialism on the goddamn face of the planet, because I've never once used a point of sale system
that wasn't
a piece of shit.
Yeah. Thank you. I was just about to say the exact same thing.
Yes.
So cool.
And the one that they show here is particularly bad.
Particularly a piece of shit.
There's no words. They're just the pictures of the food. And if you think about that for 5 seconds, you realize just how fucking awful that is.
I've also never used a POS that wasn't at least 10 years out of date.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like, you never get modern ones. All the way up to I think it was 2012. It was just before I started driving a bus in 2012. I was working at Papa John's. They still had green and black monochrome word-based or text-based OSs on their POSs. It was bullshit. I was like, guys, this is literally from the 80s.
Why am I suddenly in Fallout?
This shit is older than me. It's about the same age as me. Oh my God. That place was a fucking nightmare. So, yeah, he does the shittiest job training her.
Yeah.
Not only is it a shitty POS, but he's snarky about, like, it's just the pictures of the things that they ask for. Like, here, there's a picture of a drink, and you hit the size, and then there's a picture of the little fried pie, and then you just hit total. A Cocker Spaniel could do it. Here, you do the next one. And then he walks away.
Right? And, like, for fuck's sake, you look on it, and there's, like, 3 or 4 pictures of burgers on there. And they all look identical.
Yeah, how are you supposed to tell apart the different fucking burgers?
And imagine being...
without being hyper familiar with them.
Imagine being there your first day, and you have to remember the visual aspect of what all the food is.
Yeah, no, people don't do that. He's one of those assholes that just assumes it makes sense to anyone because it's the only thing he's ever known and probably all he ever will know. Well, that's actually very true because he doesn't make it very far in this episode.
Let's see. Then we go to lunchtime where we get to see Buffy kind of staring off into the middle distance. She's already slowly dying inside, and she hasn't even been here but half a day.
I don't know that I'd say slowly.
Right? Yeah.
Somebody hit fast forward.
She is on the highway going full throttle.
Well, she was already on that highway.
Right, yeah, that's a good point,
This job
too.
is like handing a suicidal person a gun. I'm just putting that out there as an analogy, not to trigger anyone.
After lunch, she's looking around the place. She tries to look in the freezer, and Manny's like, you don't need to be in there. Manny's constantly being like, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that.
With an ominous tone.
Yeah, but it's also like, you don't want your employees to want to learn about the fucking place?
No, because curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah.
Rex. Yeah, that was another thing. Like, no, if you're slightly curious about something in a fast food setting, they will happily teach you all about it because that means they won't have to do it anymore.
Yeah. You're curious about this? You mean I won't have to work the grill and I can make you do it?
We would love to destroy your life for the foreseeable future. Come with me.
But no, without a doubt, I don't know who wrote this episode, but for fuck's sake, they had intimate knowledge of this world.
Yeah. So Buffy's new theory about the burgers is cat burgers.
Yeah.
I want to hear her first 4 theories before we got to cat burgers.
Right.
Because I had already gotten to Soylent Green well before this.
Oh, yeah.
Which was clearly on her mind somewhere.
And like, I know it's 100% on purpose, but the turkey, or the chicken, the processed chicken that they are slicing for the burger. Oh my God. It looked so unappetizing.
It was very rubbery.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, it shouldn't bounce that much, you guys.
Yeah. No. No.
Frankly, it's ludicrous to have these interlocking bodies and not interlock.
Putrefying diseases. It'll make you blind and insane, but it won't kill you.
Light a bunch of candles and have sex near them. So far, I like it. Please remove your clothing now.
So we're back at the front counter again, and the Scoobies surprise Buffy with a supportive visit.
Yeah.
Where Buffy explains how shitty the vibe is here and how it's just not the same as waiting tables. To which Dawn helps us out, because any one of us could have said, wait, but they don't know that she waited tables. But Dawn's like, well, when the fuck did you wait tables? Oh, that one summer.
Yeah.
In L.A.
I think my favorite part of this whole conversation, though, is when she's trying to explain that something is weird, something is wrong with the vibe in the place. Xander replies with, "That's just this place.
That's just
how this place is. I've done this gig before, and that's true."
And he called it.
Yeah, it's
100% spoiler alert.
Yeah,
that's the plot of the episode.
Yes,
fast food sucks. The monster is completely tangential otherwise in this episode, which we'll get to eventually because that's how unimportant it is.
But yeah, Xander thinks it's normal, orders some food. Buffy gives him his meal for free, makes a joke about it being cat.
She gets him good with that.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm kidding, I think.
We get a little moment of Anya jabbing at Willow over not helping her plan the wedding. When it's not necessarily Willow's job.
Yeah, not Willow's job.
Is Willow supposed to be the maid of honor?
And also, Anya, you're just making her feel bad for not doing magic, which she already feels bad about not being able to do magic.
Right.
Because she has a problem. But also, speaking of having problems, backing up one step here, I wanted to slap the shit out of Xander for actually letting Buffy pay for his meal.
Yes. Especially considering that she is working this shit job because of how badly she needs money.
Yeah. And Xander, you work in construction. I've never worked construction.
He's a supervisor.
But I bet it pays more.
If Xander isn't making $60K minimum, even 20 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
There's no way he's not making at least that.
Yeah, and she needs the fucking money. Don't be a fucking dick, Xander. Yeah. But here we are. And then Anya floats the idea of having Double Meat Palace cater their wedding if Xander likes the food because she's behind on planning. We already kind of covered that, but just no.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's cheap. The only thing tackier that I can think of would be, can you imagine somebody in the White House serving McDonald's to an entire football team? God, I know I can't. And that it happened in reality not so long ago. Fuck me sideways.
Oh, man. Sorry, that needed a moment there.
Yeah, Anya's behind on planning, blames Willow for quitting magic right in front of her. Willow's like, I'm literally right here.
This is the second time this episode where Anya has been just kind of mean to Willow.
A little bit mean. What was the other time?
In the very beginning, first scene, talking over Willow when she's trying to tell the story of what's going on.
Oh yeah, she's a bit interrupty.
Yeah,
definitely.
Anya is hardcore coded as somebody with ADHD.
Oh, definitely.
Without a doubt.
Definitely. Here we go. Cut to the spikety, spike. Bringing it back because he's on point in this scene.
Yes.
Because after an unsettling interaction that Buffy has with Gina, a middle-aged woman staring into space, denying that Buffy can take a break, even though there's
I've
nobody.
had that coworker too.
Yeah, even though there's fucking nobody here because she's just fully indoctrinated into this hellhole.
We're not allowed. Downtime robs us all.
Nope. Just your ideology.
Yeah. I'm so fucking grateful that they did not use the one phrase you always hear.
If you got time to lean, you got time to clean. I kind of wish they'd worked it in. It would have helped me throw my TV across the room. Sometimes I need motivation. I just need to rearrange things. Anything involving
nothing will make me hate a manager more than if they ever use that phrase.
Oh, they used it at Steak and Shake constantly. And the manager had the other waiters saying it to me, and I was like, everybody please just die.
Right.
And I don't mean that colloquially.
I will burn this fucking place to the ground.
Goddamn ground. So anyway, the only person there that Gina is referring to is Spike. And just like that, Spike becomes the voice of reason.
Right?
Like,
right?
everything else that he said in the entire series just doesn't matter anymore because Spike here is just Keanu Reeves level correct.
Yeah. He does take a moment to express
He's
how...
He's got to warm up into it.
Right.
This is Spike we're talking about.
The fluorescent lights make him look dead.
Mm-hmm. Which, coming from him, is an absolute dad joke.
Yeah, that's a great line.
Oh, give a bloke a chance for his eyes to adjust. Damn fluorescent lights. Make me look dead. You mean they make you look dad? Anyway.
Oh, and then starts talking about how this is a normal job for a normal girl. You are not normal.
Mm-hmm.
You are the Slayer. You should not be doing this. And like, you're not wrong, Spike. She knows this as well, but society doesn't fucking understand shit.
If we're talking about the general masses.
This all just takes it back to the concept of, like, for fuck's sake, why are the Watchers not providing the Slayer with a fucking living wage so that she can devote her life to actually killing vampires?
Literally the question of the hour.
I think I've brought that up at least 2 or 3 other times in this show.
Oh, yeah, at least. I feel like I've mentioned that almost every episode this season. Because I knew this episode was coming.
But Buffy's response to Spike is, you know, please don't make this harder for me. Like, please stop telling me the truth about my new job, for fuck's sake. I'm trying to be delusional here.
I wish I could quit you. She's trying to quit Spike because the sex is just too good and she's not allowed to have good things. She's got a lot of toxic shame in her life.
Yeah.
She's got to go work hard and earn her keep or
God.
something and be a good provider, even though that really shouldn't have had to be her role right out of high school.
Right.
Especially with the role of the Slayer foisted on her at a super young age. But anyway, yeah, Spike latches onto her resentment and just goes one step further, fucking with her head. He's like, oh, I see. That why you took this job proves something to yourself. A normal job for a normal girl. Good way to drive yourself crazy, that is. And a rare moment of Spike dropping his bullshit act and just speaking to every fiber of my being as he begs Buffy to quit this job now because she's obviously not happy here and it will do weird things to her.
Yeah.
What a hell of a first day on the job. Man, I fucking needed somebody to tell me that on my first day instead of wasting something like 5 or 6 years of my fucking life in fucking food service.
That honestly, I think that's the worst thing about this episode's depiction is, like, I've been in this position of starting a job that was this fucking mind-numbing, and I was excited about it.
Oh, like, God.
The sheer fucking agony of that thought.
You poor, sweet summer child. You were at the time anyway.
Yeah.
You know, what pisses me off about it is my mom and everyone in my family kept hounding me as soon as I hit puberty. When are you going to get a job? When are you going to get a job? You got to get a job. You got to make money. How are you going to make money? And I'm like, well, I don't know what the fuck to do. I fucking can't even do school. Fuck you people.
Right.
Are you ever going to fucking take care of me? No, I just have to do that. All right, fuck you. And then they're like, well, you just have to take anything. Just take whatever you can get. You don't deserve to be picky.
Right.
Basically. And so that's how you end up working at fucking Steak and Shake and ruining the next 2 years of your life or more.
Yeah.
If you're indoctrinated enough. Luckily for me, I feel very fortunate to have been resistant to the bullshit dogma around this shitty, toxic work culture that we have here in America. The United States, rather. America is a hemisphere, not a country. Just thought I'd throw that out there real quick. But yeah, I really resent having been pushed into it like that because working in food service or security in your case, pretty much blocks you from being able to get other jobs. Because as soon as they see that on your resume, they're like, well,
why aren't you doing that?
Why are you trying to do this? This doesn't have anything to do with food service
Yep.
or security.
Well, and that's the real fucking killer of the capitalist lie is that, like, oh, it doesn't matter what you do. You just need to pick any job.
you can be whatever you want.
I mean, yeah, obviously that part's bullshit, but also just the whole thing where people will tell kids, oh, it doesn't matter what your first job is. It doesn't matter. But it's like, no, that shit can really matter.
Eventually it doesn't matter, but it would really fucking help if your first job is working somewhere respectable.
Right.
Or
at
it's
least somewhere that you...
somewhere adjacent to a field that you want to actually be in.
Exactly. Something that actually interests you.
Yeah.
I started doing security because I had a couple of friends who worked security. They said it was easy, and it was easy, but it was easy in the wrong ways. And I started doing it just weekends while I was in school. I worked 15 years total security guard experience. And for 10 of those 15 years, I was just trying to find anything but security.
Right. Yeah. Eventually, the way that I got out of food service was I realized I had to start saying no. No matter how desperate I was, don't take any food service jobs. Don't apply at any food service jobs. Find anything else that is not food service, because that is your bridge to getting out of food service. So I took this summer camp job that I thought was, and it was a fairly technical related kind of sort of teaching job. It was really a glorified babysitting job.
Right.
But it looked good enough on a resume, along with doing some grunt work at some theaters, for me to finally start pushing towards. But it was still just like a decade-long process of doing other bullshit jobs. I could have started off doing the other bullshit jobs, and I could have been here 10 or 15 years ago, instead of wasting so much time with the jobs that I didn't want anything to do with.
Maybe we should have put some sort of warning at the beginning of this episode. Hey guys, just so you know, this is filled with a lot of their trauma.
Disclaimer, this episode will be filled with two old men yelling at clouds. for almost the entire episode.
Yes.
Enjoy.
I'm not in your room. I'm in the hallway. The hallway doesn't belong to you. Mom, I can stand in the hallway, right? My friend Sharon's older brother knows a girl who died because she choked on her boyfriend's tongue.
Yeah, Buffy does not heed his advice.
No.
And she runs to help Gary with the fries or something.
Yeah, and then we cut to apparently later in the night when Gary is outside taking some trash out and he gets killed.
Gary's taking out the trash, and then the trash takes out Gary.
Yes, exactly that. It's a trash monster.
Today on Gary's Trash. Bump, bump. Oh,
cut to another quote of the day. Buffy's standing in front of the time clock, says, man, I feel like I just left.
It's because you did, Buffy.
Yeah.
It's because you did.
And
that's called hate.
Yes.
And depression.
Yeah. And the guy in front of her at the time clock turns and looks at her and just, you came back.
Right.
Like, if he wasn't so dead inside, there would be a lot of surprise in his voice, but it's all monotone because he's dead inside.
You know, I'm fortunate enough to have almost forgotten. I only say almost because I just haven't thought about it for a handful of years now, but I'd almost forgotten the feeling of dreading going to work.
Right.
Because that's just how much anxiety you have about how much you loathe being there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough to have found myself in a situation that doesn't make me feel that way.
I'm currently there. I'm unemployed now.
You're a house husband.
I'm a house husband.
Good for you.
Granted, it's not easy, but I don't loathe it. And that's what's important.
That's really what's important. So Manny informs Buffy that she'll be on the grill.
Yeah, because Gary's gone.
He is. Buffy proclaims, but I don't know how to grill, not knowing that is the best way to get trained on something you don't want to do at a fast food restaurant.
But also, like, I actually really like Manny's response to that.
Yeah. This was maybe the only clever thing that Manny says the entire episode.
I didn't write it down, but I
think it was, imagine that. Today's the last time you'll ever be able to say that.
There you go.
Yeah. Something like that. So we cut to the grill,
Yeah.
where one of the lifer drones
God.
is droning his way through a brain stabby with an ice pick of a tutorial about buttons and meat that I just didn't waste too many brain cells on.
I never worked the kind of fast food place that this place is. And so I don't know if the whole button system that he displays here is how they work this kind of place.
This place is kind of a mashup between McDonald's and Steak and Shake, in my experience. I never worked at McDonald's, but my brother did, and I've heard enough about it to know that everything at McDonald's is very simplified and as automated as possible,
Right.
to make it as easy as possible.
And they want what this guy talks about, and they've mentioned a couple of times, is they're aiming for consistency of product,
right.
which from a business standpoint makes perfect fucking sense. You want consistency of product.
Yeah. Across
Like,
locations.
Yes. Basically, he's talking about the grill, and he's like, you put the meat down, you press the button. When it beeps, you flip the burgers, you press the button. You do step A, you press the button. You do step B, you press the button. You do step C, you press the button.
You
And
put
it's
the
like,
meat on the bun. There's not a button for that one. And he's just clearly baffled by not having a button for
Right.
something that he does. He's so button oriented.
Oh God, it sounds so fucking mind-numbing.
Sad. It's really sad.
And I like working a griddle.
Oh, yeah. See, working the grill at Steak and Shake is actually kind of cool because you're in view of all of the customers. They want it to look flashy. You have to manually smash the burgers. You've got all the discretion in the world at when to flip it. And when you got a whole grill full of patties going, it actually makes it look kind of badass.
Right.
And but McDonald's, they don't even have a grill like this where you actually put the meat on the grill. It's kind of like
Right.
a burger iron more so. And you
That
just
makes sense.
it grills both sides at the same time, and it's on a timer.
But my favorite part about this bit is when Buffy asks the guy about getting greasy.
Yeah, and at first I didn't understand the segue because he just starts talking about skin, hair, eyelashes, nostrils. And I didn't realize he was listing things that grease will get stuck in.
Yeah. And then he goes on a bit of a long spiel about how one time he thought he was losing hearing in his ear, and he went to the doctor, and it was just like a grease plug.
Yeah, all the grease just built up in his ears. Yeah, and they gave him an ear cleaning kit. And offered Buffy a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to look inside of his ears. So just before that, she was trying to get the secret ingredient out of
Right.
him, and he was equally as not forthcoming and probably, frankly, not as knowledgeable anyway.
No, and he definitely doesn't know what the secret ingredient
Yeah,
is.
it's a meat process. It's the process that they do to the meat.
Yeah.
It's it's a process of meat. Buffy could not be more downright relieved to hear Manny call to her from across the restaurant.
Yep.
And she literally runs to him. And just like that, she's on a double because somebody else didn't show up. And she just takes it. Like, wow.
God, I remember once I was in a situation like this, and my boss walked up to me and says, "Hey, you're gonna have to work a double." And I'm like, "Actually, no, I'm scheduled to
fuck I
leave.
do.
I'm scheduled to leave at 4:00. I'm leaving at 4:00."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, no, we don't have anyone to replace you. You have to stay." I'm like, "Actually, I legally don't have to stay.
Yeah.
I don't have to work outside of my scheduled shift by law."
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
Security. You're not a fucking doctor.
Yeah.
Okay. Get over your fucking selves already.
That was like one of my favorite things about jobs like that was when like they call you in and they're like, "Oh, can you come in and work extra," or some shit like that. And my favorite thing to do was say no. And then they're like, "Oh, well, why not?" And because I don't want to. And they can't do anything about it.
Right.
They can hate you, but I hate them anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Fuck them. I eventually started being more shitty like that to my bosses, but I'm so regretful of all the time that I spent just kowtowing to their bullshit and trying to tell them people please and tell them what they want to hear.
Well, and like, I've been a boss before. I've done supervisory shit. I was a security supervisor for a long time. And the simple fact is you don't have to fucking be that boss.
Yeah.
You don't. You can call up an employee and be like, hey, so-and-so didn't come in. We need to cover hours. Are you available? Do you want to pick up hours? And if they say no, you're like, okay, cool. Have a good day. Click. And don't fucking guilt them. Don't try and weasel in that you have to do this. Got to take one for the team or any of that bullshit.
Yeah. Don't be emotionally abusive. What a concept.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
And fun fact.
You'll never be a billionaire, though.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But fun fact, when you're the kind of boss who's understanding, you actually get more employees who will pick up fucking hours.
Wait, people want to work for you when
Yeah.
you're not emotionally abusive?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say more employees that'll pick up the fucking phone. But also
That too.
Also
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Because, definitely I've avoided a lot of phone calls that I knew were from work because I just didn't want to talk to that fucking asshole.
And see, I never avoided those calls because, like, I wanted to tell them no so badly. Anyway. Buffy's suddenly stuck working a double shift. Cut to Xander's house.
Where Halfrek the Demon comes to rip Xander to shreds on Anya's behalf.
Yeah, he gets off the phone with Buffy. He's obviously going to be heading over to watch Dawn. And then Halfrek shows up. And Halfrek does not realize that she's there, because Anya wants to invite her to the wedding, not to flay Xander. Which, if you did accidentally flay Xander, bummer.
He'd make probably a decent burger.
Yeah.
It's a good episode to do that. I don't see what the problem is.
But yeah, Halfrek was a fellow vengeance demon. I guess she's not a fellow vengeance demon anymore because
whereas Halfrek is still an active vengeance demon,
and Anya is not.
Anya is not.
Xander is like, "Oh, you two can catch up. I'm gonna leave."
Yeah,
which is honestly, I think, smart.
Funniest bit of the entire episode might be right here. They both stare at him as he leaves, almost like they're concerned for his feelings. But then as soon as the door shuts, quote of the day, "Gosh, it's so swell to see you again, Hallie. I didn't mean to have you materialize all the way here. I mean, not till the ceremony, I mean." Halfrek says, "I guess I got the message garbled. You know how it is. Half the time I have no idea if I'm maiming the right guy." So yeah, she was a dick hair away. Yeah. She was a lady boner away from just ripping Xander to shreds and not being sorry about it.
No. And you know what? I think if she had ripped him to shreds and Anya come out and be like, you ripped my fiance to shreds, she'd been like, oops.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
By the rate this episode is going, I think she'd have been able to talk Anya down pretty quickly.
I also noticed that both Anya and Halfrek, describe Xander as having large upper arms.
I think Halfrek said it that way. So, yes, she was like, "So you're marrying the masculine one with the large upper arms?" I don't feel like his upper arms are that big. They're not that big.
No, not really.
I mean, they're an okay size. I could probably fit them in my ass if I tried. If I really believed in myself.
I mean, if you really believe in yourself, Josh, you can fit anything up your ass.
Thank you. I'm just looking for a little support. That's all I ask.
And might I suggest also you should look for lube?
I mean, if we're ripping his arms from their shoulder sockets, the blood is going to be all the lube I need.
Oh, my God. Oh, back to the Double Meat Palace.
We're going large end first here, Rex.
Back to the Double Meat Palace, where Buffy is cooking some fries, and there's an ominous moment where one of her coworkers comes up and just says, "Sometimes the oil just boils like that all on its own. Some people think it's maybe insects."
Yeah, like they say bugs fall in. And then Buffy spots Spike through the window, and shortly after, cut to them fucking out back.
Yeah, a nice quickie in the alleyway.
Well, it certainly was a quickie in the alleyway. I don't know that it was a nice quickie in the alleyway. It had to have been better than that job.
I mean, the bar's on the floor, but hey.
It's a negative bar.
Yes.
To
It's like
cross?
It's like one of those speed not the opposite of a speed hump, like a speed ditch. Have you seen those?
I've not.
There's a couple on the north side of town.
Huh.
Or,
subtractive speed bumps.
yeah, where instead of a bump, it's just a little divot.
Yeah.
And that's where the bar is.
Brilliant.
It's at the bottom of the divot.
Okay. So, good job, Spike.
Yeah.
Good job. Insert lady boner joke here.
Dracula. Fancy bugger owes me £11 for one thing. I got quite a few demons after me these days. It's blood. It's what I do.
And then we cut to Buffy's house where Willow's doing some homework or research or reading or whatnot. And Amy's paying a visit. And fuck Amy.
No, she didn't. Hey-oh.
Well, no, she didn't. But like,
I think Amy would have been down.
maybe.
I think Amy,
Only if it involved magic.
I think Amy's down for pretty much anything at this point.
Well, all I'm saying here is that Amy does the worst possible thing.
Oh, absolutely. She wants her rat cage back? How fucking weird is that?
I mean, that's not what I was referring to, but
Well,
that is particularly weird.
and Willow's like, no, that's not weird. That makes perfect sense, which is code for, yes, that's ludicrous.
batshit insane.
Absolutely batshit. 100%. Good job, though. Amy's afraid that Dawn hates her now, or rather, she noticed that Dawn hates her now correctly. And Willow skates right over the top of that.
And you know what, Amy? You fucking deserve it.
Yeah.
You especially deserve every bad thing that happens to you after she casts a spell on Willow against her fucking will.
Yeah.
Without her consent.
Because Amy cozies right up to be like, so what's this whole cold turkey thing you got going with? And then, she's not just a fucking bad influence or an enabler. She's a motherfucking... She fucking drugs Willow.
Yeah.
With magic.
Essentially.
She's like, hey, it's your birthday. Willow's like, nuh-uh. Zap. And just like that, Willow is just pouring magic out of her fingertips uncontrollably.
Also, look at what this particular spell does. It literally melts the things she touches.
Yeah. She's just destroying everything she touches.
Like, not only is it, hey, here, have some magic you don't want, but I'm also going to cause you to destroy the objects around you for the next 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you, I guess.
And I don't know if her eyes are black because her pupils are just that dilated or if it's some sort of magic or demon thing.
I think it's just her channeling the magic. It's definitely not the first time it's happened with her using magic.
No, it's at least the second, maybe the third time.
Yeah.
Amy nonchalantly acts like she did Willow a fucking favor and just saunters out with the rat cage. Hey, it's legal. It came from me, not from you. Free magic.
Yeah, because that's how that fucking works, bitch.
Yeah, no, free magic was just another party for the hippies to ruin. Yeah. Okay.
Back to Double Meat Palace.
We're at the meat grinder. She just, for no particular reason, pushes back a portion of the meat directly to where there's a whole ass finger that somehow made it through the grinder.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense whatsoever. Unfortunately, everything else about this episode makes quite a lot of sense.
Yeah. Too much sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
She, of course, grabs the finger. She goes and runs to confront Manny. His attitude towards it is so non-involved that there's no question in my mind that he hasn't found fucking body parts in this place yet.
Oh, absolutely.
He unquestionably has found body parts and tossed them.
Right? Yeah. And I just assumed that he must know what's going on or be part of what's going on. We find out later that's probably not true.
Right? But the way he acts, like, he has been ignoring a problem.
Oh, absolutely. Like, for 10 years?
Yeah, at least.
At least. The entire amount of time that you've worked there, you've been ignoring the problem that you work there.
Yeah.
And also body parts.
And so Buffy takes this finger in the meat grinder as, oh my God, it's not beef, it's people. And she has this moment where she runs out onto the dining room floor and starts screaming at people, knocking food out of their hands. Don't eat it. It's people. It's people. It's people.
Its name is Gary. Say his name. She didn't say that, but she should have.
Right.
Yeah, because Buffy's not buying any of this fucking dogma horse shit.
Yeah.
Gary's in the grinder.
And then several employees drag her off the dining room floor into the kitchen area. And then it's not till she's well away from the customers that she's like, oh, right, I'm the Slayer, and fucking chucks people around like ragdolls.
But that one lady that ordered the pie earlier is like, what about the cherry pies? For the love of God, what about the cherry pies?
I think the joke would have been great if she stepped forward and was like, what about the cherry pies? And like everyone stopped for a moment. And Buffy's like, no, that's fine. And then, like, there was a pause in the struggle.
And then they pull her. Yeah. That would have been great.
Yeah.
That's where the joke was.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No, those are fine.
Yeah.
But the rest is people. All right. And so, yeah, she remembers that she's the Slayer and just starts casually trolloping them about like rag dolls.
Yeet.
Exactly. And Manny's like, hey, don't do that.
You're fired.
I don't like that. That was mean. You're fired, lady, girl, person, female.
Which this is another moment where it is unrealistic to me because I've been at far too many jobs where it's like, this isn't enough to get fired. It's like, no, you are that terrible of an employee, but we want you indoctrinated, and like, so you have to stay.
Yeah, we'll give you a timeout.
Yeah.
They'll just put you on the worst position.
Exactly.
No punishment. Your punishment is more work for less pay.
Yeah.
Like they'll ding your money as much as they possibly can, but they won't let basically free labor go.
We cut back to Xander's house where Anya and Halfrek are having tea while talking tea. Let's see what I did there.
There was a lot of tea. What?
Yeah.
What about tea?
Tea is slang term for gossip.
Oh.
So they're having tea while talking tea.
Oh. Yeah.
But I absolutely love what Halfrek does here. This is some solid therapy lines. 100%. Anya is talking about Xander and says the line, he loves me, and sometimes it isn't easy, but he does. And Halfrek, without missing a beat, says, who told you that it isn't easy to love you? Then basically just slowly starts pulling this information out of Anya about the problems with the relationship, how like he corrects her a lot, which, he does, but Halfrek does miss the nuance of like, he's correcting because I wasn't human for a long while. And I like he's usually correcting the like, I don't understand a thing, and he's helping me understand the thing.
Right.
That's different.
That is different, which is why I feel like this is not just good therapy. This is manipulative.
Oh, yeah. Well, but like there's a couple of lines here that are like who told you.
It's borderline.
Yes.
Yeah, she's walking a real fine line here. It's very well written.
Very.
Because I had a nice little argument with myself. I'm like, man, she's being so suggestive and manipulative. Like she's really just I'd expect that of a vengeance demon. So this is on Anya. But Halfrick keeps answering Anya's questions with open-ended questions that simply mirror what Anya was trying to ask. And she's just bouncing it back to her. And I'm like, okay, you get one of those per conversation. Right. You don't get to make that the entire conversation.
I do want to say, though, there is unquestionably this narrative written in here that there are some deep fundamental problems with Anya and Xander's relationship, and she is ignoring it.
Right. So after I was like, you only get one of those per conversation, I kept thinking about it, and I'm like, that being said, she makes some good points.
She does.
I think it's only because she lacks context, like Xander correcting her or the insinuation that she's difficult to love. It sounded like that was Anya's words, but I could also see Xander saying something like that. And yeah, he's got some shit to work on. So maybe it's good that Halfrick is asking all the hard questions here. You know what? I think Halfrick's doing a good job.
Yeah.
This is a good conversation. I've completely 180'd myself at this point.
But also, like,
Halfrick for president.
I mean, I've been in some scenarios in relationships where, like, it would have probably been good for somebody to ask me the right kind of wrong questions.
Play
you know
a
what I
little
mean?
bit of devil's advocate.
Exactly.
Sure.
Like, yeah, when you're in a relationship, you're very likely to get defensive about the person that you're with because you're with them, so they can't be that bad.
Right.
But no, like, there's some deep fundamental issues between these two characters, and they aren't addressing it. Mm-hmm. And Anya's outright ignoring it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, my biggest fucking red flag in this whole scenario thus far is it has barely been shown that Xander's doing shit to help with planning the wedding.
Right.
And, like, I just recently fucking did that, and that's a fuck ton of goddamn work.
Yeah.
So fuck Xander on that account.
Or don't.
Well, yeah.
And we buzzed over the spot where Halfrick did this in the last scene with her, where she's just like,
Right? Yeah.
Oh, you love him?
Like, it doesn't, like, several lines in a row.
Yeah.
We're just basically letting Anya dig the hole.
Yeah, she digs her own hole. It's crazy because it is a little bit manipulative, but Anya's really the one digging the hole here.
Like I think
there's nuance and context here that makes it not...
Honestly, I think my feelings towards this scene would be a bit different if it wasn't Xander. And so I'm on Halfrick's team.
I mean, I feel like he's trying to help her with her people skills.
Yeah.
And that's not something that should necessarily be...
No, like...
that he should be punished.
That can be a very important thing, especially like because we all have our blind spots when it comes to that sort of shit anyway.
Yeah.
And it's very important to have your partner point out when you have a blind spot. Really, the biggest problem here is that they don't see the relationship in equal value. Like, that is very obvious that Xander does not have the same fucking feelings for Anya that Anya has for him.
Mm-hmm.
And Xander is staying engaged in the relationship out of obligation and the fact that she's hot.
Right. Made clear in the next scene.
Yeah.
Where he's like, is that what Anya used to look like?
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, you really going to go there?
Like, who the fuck cares what she was a vengeance demon.
Yeah.
You know she was a vengeance demon. You have no fucking issues with the fact that, like, she used to be a demon till you see what she looked like as a demon.
Till you saw that she was a veiny, wrinkly-looking demon.
Also, I just think the vengeance demon makeup looks kind of cool.
I don't exactly have a lady boner for it.
Right.
But it is cool-looking makeup.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, there was a kitty. She was very little, and she was all alone, and nobody wanted her.
Did the kitty get chosen by some nice people?
Well, now you ruined the ending.
Cut to
the magic box.
Is this the first time we're in the magic box this episode?
Yes.
Okay.
To an emergency meeting with only Xander, Dawn, and Buffy.
Yeah, Buffy barges in with a burger and a wrapper, throws it down on the table, is very displeased with the turnout for this emergency meeting.
Yeah.
It's only because...
As she should be. The Slayer calls a meeting. Everyone should fucking get there.
Absolutely. The two most useless people are there.
Yeah.
They need Dawn, or they need Willow and Anya, and they don't have either of them.
Yeah.
But of course, Xander knows where Anya is. She's talking with Halfrick, but we have no idea where Willow is. And Buffy shows them the finger, not the one you're thinking. It's Gary's finger. And she explains that she thinks the meat is people, and she brought the burger to be analyzed by Xander's stomach, who is now officially horrified.
I will give a little bit of weight to Xander's position here.
Oh, I've totally eaten the burger.
Kinda. Like,
I would have asked, is this for me?
Are you going to eat this? Yeah. Can I eat your burger?
Right.
Like something along those lines.
Yeah, you don't just
But
eat
also, and I hope that in the future, if this scenario ever comes up, that you will oblige that if you bring a thing of food that has a even tiny minuscule chance of being people and set it in front of me, that you open with that.
I will label it with Soylent Green.
Hey guys, glad you're here at the Magic Box. I just walked in. I have a burger in my hand that might be people.
Yeah, the only reason I wouldn't open with that is because I want you to eat it.
Right.
And then laugh at you because I just watched you eat people. That is the only reason to not lead with that.
I'm also just kind of horrified by the fact that the rest of the entire scene, nobody except Xander is bothered by him just eating a burger that might be people.
Yeah, because Buffy had like 2 of them that day. Everyone else has eaten them at other times as well, and none of them are having a fucking Ace Ventura plunger to the face moment. And all he did was kiss a man that wasn't a man. It was a trans woman.
Right.
Yeah. Because that movie's not.
Yeah, we're not going into that one.
Crockett gets the boss a coffee.
Anyway, though, one thing I do like is how Dawn mentions that Buffy smells. At a point in time, I had a roommate who worked at a Wendy's, and it was the worst.
You can't
thing.
get the grease out to save your life. It's
the worst
embedded
thing.
in those clothes forever.
Oh my God.
Forever. No, same with Steak and Shake.
His car was awful to ride
Oh
in.
God, I believe it. Yeah. I was always a little more fastidious about my clothes than a bunch of the other people that worked there. Some people just...
He was a pretty clean dude, too. Like, he was one of the people that actually, like, kept his car clean.
Sure.
But the smell had permeated to the point where it's like, there's nothing he could do.
Right. But no, you could tell what kind of a person was, but some people just had the sloppiest clothes on the planet that worked at that place. And it was like, how long have you owned that shirt? Like 5 fucking years?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, what's the point? I don't know. Anyway, I had a quote of the day here. Buffy says, Xander, you ate the burger? Xander says, well, first you say it's cat, and then you come in and hand me a burger, blah, blah, blah. 5 minutes later, oh, and by the way, it happens to be hot, delicious human flesh.
It's been a bit since we had a really good Xander line, though.
Because, yeah. Why don't you lead with that?
Yeah.
Buffy. Like, that's your moment in this episode, Xander. That's it.
Yeah.
Willow comes in, and Xander and Dawn get her up to speed while Willow hides that she's accidentally magicking all over the place.
Yeah.
She's turning pencils into rubber.
I'm disappointed at this sort of scenario with her having the magic put on her and everything. I could see telling Dawn being a problem, because obviously Dawn magic is going to be a touchy subject. That makes sense. And I could see not telling Xander because Xander's going to be a dick about it. But they've had enough moments, I think, between Buffy and Willow that she would tell Buffy. Buffy would understand Amy cast a spell on me.
But also it makes complete sense that Willow would be ashamed and weird about it and not run straight to Buffy, which I think plays the story just fine because Buffy's busy with Soylent Green Burger Shack over here.
True. I guess they don't really get a moment that she could bring it up with just Buffy.
And also,
so that makes sense. But
I could have sworn that I was just going to be like, I was on the being really annoyed and borderline hateful towards Willow for a while because she's just being so reckless and irresponsible and bitchy.
Yeah.
But I actually found myself being so fucking proud of her this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's trying so hard.
Yes.
And then not only that, but even after she gets this spell cast on her against her will, she continues to take steps to get back where she was, including and up to telling Amy to fuck off.
Yes. And I have notes on that, and we will get there.
In no uncertain terms. But yeah, we're not there yet.
I did find it somewhat funny that the whole time they're talking in this scene, Xander's just like turning green.
Almost, yeah. And so Buffy's theorizing that this could be a widespread problem with all the restaurants, not just this one in Sunnydale, because they have high turnover, and if they're just murdering people, they get free meat. So this is the perfect cover for them. And she tasks Willow with testing the meat from the wrapper rather than having to get a new one.
Yeah.
And then Buffy fucks off to do some reconnaissance at the Double Meat Palace after it's closed.
Yep.
Dawn notices Willow is a bit rattled. Willow kind of shrugs it off as, I'm just concerned about Buffy because she doesn't know what she's walking into, which turns out to actually be true.
Yes.
But in the moment, it felt like, oh no, she's just having a hard time with the spell.
Right. Like she is unquestionably on edge for other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to the Double Meat Palace where Buffy's looking around, checks the cooler, looks at the grinder, and then eventually just trips over Manny's foot.
Yeah, she was doing a really good job of playing Inspector there for a minute, detective, whatever. I don't know how she concentrates with all that suspenseful horror music playing in the background. And then something clatters in the distance. It would have scared the shit out of me.
I didn't notice it.
Oh, well, no, that's when she's like, Manny?
Right.
Because it sounded like a pan or a knife or something clattered to the ground.
Turns out it's not Manny because Manny's dead.
She slips in something, just groans on the floor. It didn't really seem like an accurate noise to taking that hard of a slip on the floor. But she's the Slayer.
Yeah, she's the Slayer.
So she gets back up, and she's holding a severed foot that's wearing the same shoes that we saw Manny wearing earlier.
Yeah.
And she says, I guess you really were a lifer. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Oh, geez. Back to the magic box. Willow is having a rough time avoiding magic.
So much so that the whole time she's sitting there, Xander and Dawn are at the counter talking. She's at the table, and she's just repeating her mantra to not use magic over and over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. And it's weird to me that she used to love science and computers and doing this nerdy shit. Seems like it would come right back to her and be second nature for her.
Well, and
I mean, it kind of does, but she seems to just loathe it so much now.
As she points out, the biggest problem she's having is that everything just takes longer.
It's so fucking slow.
Fuck, dude. Think about any time that we're trying to look something up on the computer or something, or a website takes a little bit longer to load than usual.
Right.
Like, you get used to a certain amount of data speed, and like you're like, oh god, I can count to 5 before I get to see this picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I totally believe she would lose her interest in slow science versus the like, oh look, the spell, it's done.
Yeah, I've literally had times where I had the patience and the wherewithal to be like, no, the hourglass has only been animating for 5 minutes. It could still be okay.
Yeah.
It's not frozen yet. And now you're right, that limit has gone down to maybe 5 seconds.
Yeah. Like, I have ADHD. I do not have any patience like that. I would exactly be in Willow's situation where it's like I would be so fucking livid about how long everything is taking.
I know my patience has gone way downhill, and I'm starting to notice it and get really upset with myself about it because I'm just incrementally getting more and more addicted to my phone, and I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I'm like, why do I feel the need to scroll while I'm watching a TV show? That shouldn't be a thing.
No,
my mom does it all the time. It drives me fucking crazy. And recently I've started doing it and I'm like, no, stop. I got to fucking anyway. This is not a podcast about ADHD.
But Dawn and Xander are having a conversation, and Dawn brings up that her friend's sister or mom or whoever is a lawyer. And of course, Xander's like, oh, so you're saying I should sue Double Meat Palace if their burger's human?
Not even close.
And she's like, no, Buffy won't be something like that. She won't be a lawyer or a teacher.
She
or
won't have a
like
chance to even try to become a doctor or a lawyer.
And then Xander
And she'll
really,
be stuck working shit jobs her whole life,
Yeah.
is the main point.
And Xander really whiffs this one because he's like, well, you could be a lawyer and then you can support your deadbeat sister.
Which is a little bit funny.
It's a little bit funny.
But maybe that's
Maybe the wrong sentiment,
maybe
Xander.
not the joke that Dawn needed in that moment. She's unamused at this prospect. Willow calls them over because she may have found something.
Quote of the day, because she's like, oh, I'm using science. And or when Xander asks what she's doing, she's like, I'm using science. And she says, quote, it's chemistry. You can tell because it's so damn slow.
Yeah.
By the way, chemistry most of the time is very time consuming, especially if you're like doing that shit in the goddamn magic shop and not a fucking lab.
Right? Yeah, you need specialized areas for that shit, I imagine. So while she's doing this, Anya runs in, regretfully having hurried in order for them to do chemistry. And Xander first thing asks her, hey, what's up with Halfrick's face? Is that what your face used to look like? And Anya's like, yeah, is that a problem? It's like, well, it was kind of veiny. Like, you shut your fucking mouth, Xander. Not a good time for that. There's no good time for that, actually.
No, there's no good time
Except for the fact that actually you're just betraying how shitty you are, and she should break up with you because this is actually your authentic thoughts. Which doesn't mean you shouldn't say them so that you can stay in this bad relationship. It means you are doing exactly what you should do so that this relationship can end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. Just speak your mind and then break up.
And the universe will sort it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the bickering is interrupted by Willow saying that there's no reaction to the chemical. She does explain that she's going to put a chemical in with the proteins, and if it's human, it would react to the proteins and like change color or whatnot. But there's no reaction, and Xander has a moment of freaking out. Oh my God, there's no reaction. No, dude, listen to her.
Yeah.
And she expresses that it's weird because it's more like cellulose? Question? Huh? Weird.
Which is just plant matter.
Yeah, plant matter, not meat.
Not meat. So, yeah, something the fuck weird going on. So, yeah, Anya takes offense to him not liking how Halfrick looks. And she's like, well, you're not so perfect with your unusually large upper arms and your tendency to criticize. And he's like, wait, what? Yeah, shut the fuck up, Xander. So Willow doesn't see a reaction in the shit under the telescope, so it's not human. But what she's looking at is weird somehow because she thinks it's cellulose, which is plant matter. What does that mean?
Fear me.
He's so cute. You didn't sense a hyena energy at all, did you? Because hyena possession is just unpleasant.
Run, flee, maybe skedaddle.
Oh, I miss the free hot dogs on sticks.
Cut to the Double Meat Palace again.
Where they're murdering plants, apparently.
Yes.
That's all I could think of.
Those poor plants.
Those poor babies. All they wanted to do was make oxygen for us.
Fun fact, you actually legally could not do this. You legally could not sell something and say, this is a burger.
Oh, yeah.
And it not being a burger.
And it be majority plant matter, just mixed with grease or something.
Beef.
Yeah, beef fat. It's grease.
Right, yeah. Which also explains why their burgers are so goddamn greasy that the cook is fucking bathed in it.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a good point. Anyway, but we don't actually find that out till the very end.
Right,
so
right.
Buffy's still walking around slowly in the dark, carrying around this severed foot that kind of looks like it came from a Halloween store, which is fine, I guess. It got the job done.
Yeah.
It looked like they gooified it up a bit to be more realistic or something.
It's a lower budget episode. It's fine.
And then the rest of the foot was in a shoe.
Yeah.
So whatever. And it's the bony part of the foot You know, it doesn't have to be floppy.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't get a close-up of the skin. It's fine.
It's fine.
I don't know why I'm still going on about this.
She's not licking it. It's fine.
And even if she was, good for her.
Yeah.
She hasn't had any actual meat for days, or however long she's been working there.
Exactly.
And she then also finds a wig and is like, wig lady or something. And then the wig lady.
I absolutely love this little nod to the fact that every time you work anywhere in customer service, you have fucking nicknames for every last one of those regulars.
Yeah. So was she the one with the cherry pie?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. Just making sure. So she comes out without her wig, of course, and is clearly the boss villain, judging by the escalating music. And she still has that sweet old nice person tone as she's like, oh dear, is that what they call me, wig lady? Well, I have to do something to hide this. And then a huge fucking eel demon creature slithers out of her goddamn head.
Yeah.
Just one big fucking eel snake thing.
And then it spits at Buffy and fucking is a paralyzing spit.
Yeah.
Which you don't actually see it spit at Buffy, but like it spits later.
I saw a mist. Later
did you?
it looks like a full-on squirt gun.
Yeah.
But I think the first time they CG'd it, so it just looked like a mist.
I even went back. I'm like, did it even spit at her?
I could have sworn I saw something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Its head kind of looks like a xenomorph.
Right.
But who cares?
But no, she explains.
The head looked like what comes out of a xenomorph's mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it looked like the parody xenomorph creature that pops out of the dude's chest in
At the end of Spaceballs. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, my baby. Hello,
Exactly.
my darling. Hello, my
Exactly
ragtime gal.
But no, Wig Lady explains that she loves eating double meat palace workers because they eat so much double meat palace burgers.
Yeah.
Like that's their diet, and that makes them taste yummy.
They're greasy, but they're also grass-fed.
Yeah.
It's perfect. And then she explains that her venom was paralyzing and Buffy shouldn't try to run because, well, she can't. So I feel like that was a superfluous warning that she didn't really need.
I love that she tells Buffy, you should flail your arms about while you can.
Because you won't be able to much longer. Dramatic commercial break.
Yes.
Buffy tries to run, even though Wig Lady told her not to.
Yeah.
Come on, Buffy. Get with the program. And she's so in love with her own paralysis venom. All the better to eat you slowly with, my dearie. So Buffy's crawling now because, as Wig Lady explained, the paralysis works from bottom to top, so she can still use her arms for a minute.
Yes.
And she uses them to whack the demon eel's head with something metal. Couldn't quite make out what it was. And
I couldn't tell either.
It screeches and flies
The
away.
whole scene is actually kind of dark lit, like a little too dark lit, you know?
I was fine with it.
Like it works because like it probably meant they didn't have to have very good effects for the fucking snake head.
Right.
But like it does make it a little tough to tell what...
It could have benefited from a little more high contrast.
Yeah. That
bright spots here, dark spots there.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's a good thing
some
Willow...
key lighting. There you go.
Or some leader lighting if we're playing Half-Life.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a good thing Willow was actually also worried about Buffy because, you know, instead of just being worried about the magic.
Right.
But, yeah, she wanders up and starts talking to Buffy through the drive-thru speaker, explaining that it wasn't people, it was plant fiber. Isn't that weird? And yes, Willow, that's very weird.
It is.
Also, she feels bad about using the magic that wasn't hers. It was Amy's. Sure, Willow, I believe you.
Right.
And now she's having withdrawals, and she chooses this moment to talk to Buffy about it through a drive-thru speaker. Right. And isn't even sure that Buffy can hear her.
Well, like, to me, that sounds like a way of her talking about it, but without the actual, like, weight.
Yeah, it's kind of like going to a confessional booth.
Yeah.
It's just easier because you're not talking to a fully lit face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Psychologically, I can see that.
Buffy ends up knocking something over. There's a big clatter that tells Willow, oh my God, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And she heads into the Double Meat Palace.
Yeah, good thing, because she barges in on Buffy with the demon eel, biting her fucking shoulder to hold her back as the wig lady slowly approaches her. I don't know how she was going to eat her. She's going to gum her to death or something?
I guess.
Or was the eel going to do all the hard work? I don't know.
I don't understand either.
I would have liked to have seen her eat at least one person so that we can have a better understanding of the process.
Like, is it like a snake that, like,
since we
the
can't...
jaws unhinge and it just like...
Exactly. I mean, we can't use magic anymore, so we need to know the scientific process.
We need more science.
Science!
What the fuck did Willow use to cut the snake head off?
No fucking idea. But
like, I have no idea what she grabbed.
There's bread knives and kitchen knives all over any given restaurant.
Yeah.
Bread knives, at least. I don't know about actual, chef's knives or anything like that, but let's just give them that one. That's a freebie.
Yeah. She cuts the snake head off the thing and then shoves it into the grinder. And the look of the meat in the grinder is pretty disgusting.
It looked like they put a bunch of ping pong balls in there and then some yellow goop and got a shot of it. And they were like, that's good enough.
I thought it looked vile.
It did look vile, but it also looked like ping pong balls and yellow goop in a grinder.
And it might have been.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that when she cuts the snake off of the lady's head, the lady falls down,
right?
But the snake still seems pretty much fully alive.
I'm pretty sure that the lady was just a meat suit.
That seems to be the case here, yeah, because the
No, it's like an Edgar suit.
He wanted sugar water. But yeah, it even pops itself up out of the grinder in one last ditch effort to not be ground to death, but she shoves it back down in there.
And go Willow completely being the one who totally, like, Buffy didn't accomplish shit.
Yeah, Buffy didn't do shit. I mean, she found the demon, but then so did Willow.
Yeah.
Willow could have done this by herself.
Exactly.
Yeah. This demon just sucked because this Monster of the Week episode was not about this demon at all. This demon was purely incidental.
Like, they're like, well, guys, I guess we should put a demon in this.
This is still Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Something's got to get slayed.
Yeah.
So, and then they look down just in time to see it squinch out of the grinder holes in a disgusting green and yellow slurry of... This was the nasty part, if you ask me.
Yeah. No,
gross-ass fucking demon eel ground up. If I'd been there, I might have barfed. Like, I've got a pretty strong stomach. I don't barf easily. But you put a smell with something that's already visually real bad.
Smells are more likely to make me sick than sight.
Like, even if they just made... even that slurry could have very well just been green and yellow squash put into a grinder.
Right.
But just with the idea planted in your head that it's actually a demon snake.
Yeah.
Turns my stomach.
Yeah.
And then if I'd smell some sort of food that I recognize with it at the same time, unless I'm the props person and I'm just like, what, it's just squash.
Right.
Then I'm like, okay, I'm fine. But so it did its job is all I'm saying. Good job, props people.
Exactly.
Kudos. And they all shared a very well-timed ew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jim Varney, well, could have done it better himself, but he wasn't there, and they did a perfectly passable job.
Exactly.
So,
cut to Buffy's house the next day.
Correct.
Amy pays a visit. Willow tells her to fuck off.
And when she gets there, to fuck off again.
Yes.
And
continue fucking off. Until she gets back here. And then fuck off again.
Skip the doorbell, though.
Yes. The way that Amy describes this spell as like going to fucking Disneyland, like, how would it be fun to be accidentally melting shit?
Yeah.
Like, how would that, like...
Well, I think there must have been more to it than that. I think Willow could have had a lot more fun with it if she had wanted to just go hog wild, but she was trying to be fucking a good doobie.
Yeah.
And so she was just panicking and accidentally breaking everything with the magic instead of turning the whole place into Fantasia.
That would probably work then. But either way, I'm so fucking proud of Willow in this moment where she says to Amy, either you'll respect this because you're my friend or you're not my friend, and then fuck off.
Yeah. No, she said, if you're my friend, you'll leave me the hell alone. If you're not my friend, you better leave me the hell alone.
Yeah.
And I thought that was fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well said, Willow. Good fucking job.
And good riddance, I hope.
Yeah. Because what Amy did is so fucked up. It's so fucked up to do that to somebody that's trying to quit. It's like, because I had to quit smoking, and that was a several-year process that I still struggle with occasionally to this day.
And we specifically had a couple of friends in our friends group who actively made it a problem for you.
They would come in and fucking laugh at me and make jokes and be like, oh yeah, you'll be smoking again later tonight. And I'm like, fuck you, die in a fire.
Yeah.
But this is like 10 times worse. This is like not just buying me a pack of cigarettes. This is like if you bought me a pack of cigarettes, shoved one in my mouth, and then held me down and lit it while you sealed any other orifice I could breathe through.
Right.
Or we could just simplify the whole metaphor and say it's like if you snuck up behind someone and shot him up with heroin.
Yeah, it really is. It's fucked up.
Literally, this is drugging. She was drugged.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Okay, one last time we cut back to the Double Meat Palace, where Buffy's returning her uniform. There's a new manager. I did not get her name. Not important.
Don't care.
She's also the very much kind of boss you see in a sort of place like this.
Absolutely.
And like, she's worse.
Like because she seems competent.
Right. She seems competent and she seems nice. Right. And she makes you want to like her.
Mm.
But just as fucking brainwashed by the goddamn place.
So brainwashed and fully indoctrinated.
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand Manny being fully indoctrinated. He wasn't all there to begin with, I suspect.
Exactly.
So what's her fucking excuse?
Granted, she's only been here 5 years. Manny had been there 10.
But she's on her fucking way.
Yeah, maybe she's on her way. But anyway, Buffy
takes her stupid fucking uniform back. Like, burn it.
Right.
Burn it.
Well, and the manager's even like, most people don't.
Why would they?
But Buffy is about to leave, and she's like, so the secret ingredient, it's vegetables, isn't it?
She's like, fuck me, close the door. You can't tell anybody this. And I'm like, oh, yes, she fucking can. Did she sign an NDA?
Right.
Nope. And even if she did, those things don't hold up in court.
And so she's like, it's a valuable secret, isn't it? And
is there
she
something,
uses this
is there something
leverage.
You want, Buffy?
She uses this leverage to get her job back.
Yeah, Buffy's
what
like,
the fuck is wrong with you, Buffy?
Yeah.
You can blackmail them for money without the job.
And she almost did accidentally. The lady's like, oh, you want money? And she's like, oh, yeah, but no, I want to work. I'm like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
Nobody wants to work, especially this job.
Right?
That's bullshit, Buffy.
Ah, Buffy, you're too honorable for your own fucking good right now.
Well, no, she's a level of indoctrinated herself, honestly.
Yeah.
She's got that Protestant work ethic. I have to work for my money. I'm a firm believer that we all, no matter how quote-unquote lazy you are, deserve to not starve and not freeze to death.
Oh, I agree.
Universal income.
Yes.
Basic universal income, human right. If you create a system of society where people are not allowed to self-subsist off the land in a lawless, anarchical manner, you, as the government, better give them a fucking way to survive then.
But the scene closes out with, through this whole bit, you feel like, this manager might be pretty okay. Like, she might be pretty awesome.
Oh, she's 10 times worse than Manny.
And she closes it off, proving that whole idea wrong by saying, I don't want any short timers here. I need you to be striving for this, and points to the 5-year pin
Yeah.
that she has.
She still thinks she gets to play the I only want people who want to be here card.
Yeah.
Points at her fucking 5-year loser pin. And it's all, I want you to be shooting for this from here on out. As if she still gets to be the boss.
Right.
It's like, no. Buffy just became your boss.
Yeah.
Buffy is literally blackmailing you for this job. You do whatever Buffy wants now, is how this works, if you're that worried.
I can't remember if we see any more episodes of her working this job.
I feel like we do see one more, and until they finally kill off this job. But we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
Because, I could have sworn I remembered this coming, because I was like, oh, thank God she got out. I thought I remembered her not quitting. And then the end of the episode comes, and I'm like, no. Oh, God. No.
Buffy, why?
She stayed. Damn it. It's so depressing.
It is.
It hurts me to the core.
Oh, God. And you know what? I've had far too many jobs that felt just like that.
Yeah. Like you're just trapped forever.
Forever.
I've lived so many eternities in such a short lifetime.
Right.
Working shit jobs like this.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Anyway, Gur-arg.
Gur-arg.
Is this for me? I must be ready. I need my strength. Give me more! Night, I shall walk in the earth.
Hold on. You've got something in your eye.
How'd you feel about this episode, Josh?
It's weird. I loathed the episode. I loathed the concept of the episode because it was so well done.
Right. No, like...
I loathed it for all the right reasons.
Yes.
So I really
exactly
liked this episode, but I feel icky saying it.
Exactly. You feel a little bit like the grease got on you.
Yeah.
Like, it's so painfully accurate to life.
Oh, yeah.
In so many fucking ways. And that brought up a lot of trauma.
Right. Yeah.
And I really wish that I did
could
not...
you tell? Could you tell, guys?
I wish I didn't have to live with that trauma.
Well,
But...
it's not really trauma that screws people up so much as not processing the trauma.
Well, yeah. But it brought up some very painful memories and just some of the worst times I've been through for, like, just monotonous bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But...
my formative young years
exactly
wasted in these shit
exactly
holes. I'm as mad about that as I am having my foreskin chopped off at birth.
That's an interesting way to take that.
It's an injustice.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And I think hands down my absolute favorite part of this entire fucking episode is that the problem of people dying had nothing to do with the setup. Like normally that is bad storytelling.
Yeah.
When you're setting something up and then it's just has nothing to do with it, that's normally bad storytelling. But the way they did it, they set it up like this is the big thing, but it's a red herring in that like it's not. It's just really that bad.
Yeah. I thought it was a brilliant red herring. It's kind of a reverse red herring.
Yes, and it is brilliant. And like I said, I don't know who wrote it, but whoever wrote it worked at this fucking job.
Yeah, because I don't even feel the need to come up with some ludicrous stand-in term for red herring like pink halibut or whatever we used to do.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
No, this is an actual fucking red herring. They knew... They did it on purpose and they played it out.
Exactly.
That's a red herring.
I liked it. And honestly, I think the only thing I really disliked about the episode is that Buffy goes fucking back.
Yeah, that's the worst part. But Willow,
you had an out. You had an out.
Yeah, Willow was on top of her game this episode. I really like what they're doing with her character arc
There's
now.
not everything we got for all the characters I thought was excellent. So what they were doing with Willow's struggle, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, I was a little iffy till you put it in context with her not telling anybody, but Dawn's worry about her sister, fucking perfect.
Yeah. Such
deep,
a small moment, but
yes,
deep and necessary.
Yeah. And then the way they're showing the potential downfall of Xander and Anya's relationship, perfect. They're doing a great job with that. Like, I'm really pleased with a lot of that. Hell, even
it's really,
Spike being in here and the way that he responded, like, you are better than this because Buffy is better than this.
She absolutely is. Yeah, this was so many points in Spike's favor.
Yes.
This episode. And they're really bringing Xander and Anya's relationship to life, giving it three-dimensional feel to it. Like, nobody's relationship is perfect.
This was honestly, I think, a top tier Monster of the Week episode.
Yeah, because the Monster of the Week was an extra in its own episode.
Yeah.
It was just a good episode disguised as a Monster of the Week episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. What's your quote of the day, Rex?
Honestly, I'm just going to go with one of the very first lines that I even noticed in the episode, which is with Anya's spiel, the workers are the tools that shape America, and Buffy's response of, good to know. I was kind of feeling like a tool, and now I know why.
There you go. That was a good one. I got to give mine to Buffy, too. There were a handful of good lines, but I really enjoyed the moment where she was freaking out and throwing all the food on the floor. And as they're pulling her into the back room, she says, the meat layer is definitely people. It's people. It's people. Okay, probably not the chickeny part, but who knows? Who knows? And it just would have been bonus points if they had done the thing.
Yeah.
Where she's like, what about the cherry pies?
Oh, no, that's fine.
Well, those are fine.
Like, it would have been a little bit of taking out of the moment and being like, oh, look, we're in a TV show.
Don't
but
care.
It would have been perfect.
Don't care. I'd have taken it.
It'd have been perfect.
You know what else reminds me? It's a TV show. The fucking eel. Fuck right off.
Yeah.
All right. This has been another episode of Beer with Buffy. Don't forget to not follow us on Twitter. Do, however, follow us on Blue Sky.
Yes.
Something Beer with Buffy. However handles work on Blue Sky. I have yet to join up myself. I'm going to get on that one of these days. I should probably do that instead of doom scrolling.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like us on Facebook. But not that it matters much, because we're probably going another direction entirely with that.
And remember, we are looking for ideas in that realm.
Yeah, forums
if you
are
have
kind
any
of
ideas.
Forums are kind of 15 years ago. Discord is pretty poorly coded.
Yeah, I don't use Discord either, and I don't know how.
I certainly don't want a Slack chat. That's for coworkers.
But
so therefore,
maybe a subreddit, but I don't know. I don't fucking know anything about handling and managing a subreddit.
Subreddit just feels like we'd get a lot of random internet people, not actual listeners of our podcast.
Exactly. And so, like, if you have any ideas, we love having a community online for fans of the podcast.
But we just don't want to support Nazis.
Yeah.
Which the metaverse qualifies, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we kind of just want to pull away from that. Hence Blue Sky. So, yeah, for now we're still on Facebook. Our shop is back. If you'd like to buy something from us, you can go to www.beerwithbuffy.com/shop or /products. I don't know. Just go to our website. There's a link. You'll find it. If you'd like to support us just by throwing money out the window and into our pockets, where it's very useful to us.
We would be impressed.
We would be.
Yeah.
That's how you impress us, with money. Just go to patreon.com/beerwithbuffy. We have a cat naming perk. We've talked for a long time about adding other perks. We have not done it.
we would like ideas if you have ideas for that too.
Maybe we still will someday. But the number one best way to help us out might be to review us on iTunes, because it stoops the algorithm for us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at beerwithbuffy@gmail.com. If you'd like to text us or leave us a voicemail, we have a phone number, weirdly, but since a very early episode, it is 269-743-0783. Future shout out to Adam Dennis and Maggie Herron for all of our transition music. This has been Beer with Buffy. I'm Josh.
I'm Rex. Have a good night.
Enjoy your lady boners.
You are the Slayer. Lives depend upon you. I make allowances for your years, but I expect a certain amount of responsibility, and instead of which you enslave yourself to this cult.
You don't like the color?
You have a sacred birthright. You were chosen to destroy vampires, not to wave pom-poms at people.
Why can't you people just leave me alone?
You are the Slayer.
Go ahead.
I'm a watcher. I haven't the skill.
Oh, come on.
By appealing to your common sense. Earwolves, incubi, succubi, everything you've ever dreaded was under your bed, but told yourself couldn't be by the light of day.
One girl in all the world.
Common sense.
One girl in all the world.
It was a bit, British, wasn't it?
Wait, what have we done? Why are we watching this?